This particular artist that we're going to talk about now is Kim Guiline, is an example of this kind of monochrome painting. So Kim Guiline, inspired by Saint-Exupéry, escaped from Korea, very heroic, because he wasn't from a wealthy family. And he moved to France to study literature, to Dijon. When he was in Dijon, he realized that he was never going to be able to write the poetry or the fiction that he thought he was going to write when he was a younger man. But instead of just giving up and becoming a banker or something, going back to Korea or becoming a teacher of literature maybe or something like that, he decided to become a painter. So that's rather unusual way to become an artist, in a sense. Most artists, but not all, but most study art as a young man at an art school and then go on to become professional artists. But Kim Guiline didn't, and that makes him different from most, perhaps all, the other artists that he's associated with, the Tansekwa artists. He didn't want a picture to have clear meaning. By clear, I mean a meaning that we could already understand because we already know it. We knew it already. We could recognize it. He wanted to try and make an image that wasn't easy to recognize or recognizable at all, and therefore would be a surprise. On the one hand, he takes away from painting all the things that we might expect to find in a painting. So again, there's this funny feeling that in Kim Guiline's paintings, although we've got the color and the size and the scale, that there's some way in which he's trying to hide something, or at least make it not understandable or legible, readable, or visible. It's somehow invisible, but it's suggested in the picture, a meaning beneath the surface, but it's undeclared. By which I mean it's not clearly defined. When you're looking at something, you're always active. And Kim Guiline clearly wants us to feel active in relation to an idea of the inside of a painting and the outside of a painting. Once you start looking more closely at this picture, it's actually incredibly complicated. It's just a kind of complexity that you might not expect in a picture. To understand what that complexity is, it's necessary to moving closer to the picture. You don't, what we tend to do is when we look at a painting, we look at it from a certain distance. So as I moved in close, my perception of the picture, what I'm seeing, has changed considerably. At first I was just seeing basically two color surface, two rectangles. Now I'm very close, I'm looking at the left-hand side one, and I can see that actually what's on this surface is a grid. He's drawn out a kind of grid in thin black paint, and within the intersections of the horizontal and vertical lines of the grid, he's put little dots of paint, all the same size, but not all exactly the same, because each dot is slightly different because of the texture of the paint and the amount of paint that he's laid on. So this, again, is a very complicated experience when we're looking up close. An awful lot to take in with the eye as we kind of graze across the whole surface. What is writing if it's not those that linguistic meaning? What is another meaning of writing, and why would Kim Guiline be so interested in trying to use painting to connect with that meaning? But all we know is that for Kim Guiline anyway, one of the deepest motivations for him in his work was to try to create a language that you could share with as many people as possible. He tried to write poems, and we can see again in these early attempts, perhaps the best pictures are always those that are the most ambiguous, or that have various ways of being understood and that change over time. But the strange thing is that when you reduce something to the very simple, it can then become the source of a huge number of very many possibilities, possible interpretations, possible meanings. He wants you to come close to his pictures and move around in front of them. Again, you're being active, literally, physically active. When you move in close, look at the surface, move back again, move close again. Study the picture from different points of view. You're activated. So it seems that one of the very important factors, one of the things that motivates an artist like Kim Guiline is that he activates you, the viewer. You become an active partner in appreciating the value of the picture, making it mean something. You're not just a passive consumer of the picture.